We are live. Hopefully everybody's doing all right this morning. We had a huge day yesterday. Those of you that were able to tune in, we took 3 trades. We won all 3 of them. Actually, as a matter of fact, the market continued down yesterday in the negative direction quite a while, creating a very, very large range. That does, however, impact today's trading a little bit in that we've created this big range yesterday, and there's a good chance that we could just live inside of that range. Regardless, we do have a number of opportunities still to take some trades today, and so let's jump into it without further ado. So, first up on the docket, as always, looking at ES and SPX. So, really big range yesterday created between 70.20 and 68.97, basically 6,900. So basically 120 point range from yesterday. Within that range, from 7,000 to 6,920, there are a ton of rejection points. So you need to be very careful trading in that range because of how many possible rejections there are. As a matter of fact, the only thing I really like on ES today is the gap fill to the upside. So we will gap down by almost 30 points, roughly. We'll see the exact amount as we open market today. But taking that gap fill and riding that back up 30 points looks to be really the only and most profitable play on SPX that I'm interested in taking today. If I look at the walls, there is the most immediate walls at 69.70 and 69.50, but there's a lot of walls still to the upside and to the downside. So want to be very careful on ES SPX today. All right, next up, and probably my favorite one to watch today, is going to be AMD. AMD made a big move to the downside last night, and excuse me, and they just made a new low of pre-market 235.5. So that will be my entry point for AMD today. I will look to take a trade below 235.5. NVIDIA, I'm still watching for that same wick fill we talked about yesterday. So I am looking above the 193.50-ish level it's going to be on NVIDIA to take that wick fill. On Apple reported earnings last night. The lower range jumped down to 255, 256-ish. 254 was the low of the market yesterday. And the high side of that went up to 268. However, before 268, there's pretty key levels at 262, 264, 266, and 268. Basically, every $2 on Apple is a key level. How do I see that? Look at these liquidity grabs on the chart. Right here up to 262. Right here up to 264. There's another candle right here and here. 266 right here. 268. There is a couple of candles in between, smaller ones, 267, 265. So we can watch it every dollar. But I do like the Apple move to the upside quite a bit. I will watch it to the downside, 254. I don't love it quite as much, so I may be a little more cautious with taking something there. But that is on the docket. Last thing, I will be watching Meta to break out of its earnings range. Meta created an earnings range that went up to 744 yesterday. So I will be watching Meta to see if it gets through that 744 level. Okay. Couple of other things important. Trump pre-market, Trump announced a new Fed chair. Excuse me, not finance, Fed chair. I don't think that'll impact the market too much. It's already baked in. They already kind of knew who he was going to take, so I don't think that'll affect it too much, but we'll be mindful of that. We also had pre-market news. PPI came out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Let me change this to the 2-minute chart. Bear with me. If I look at the effect of that, really not much. A little bit of volume came in, bit of a drop in the market, but the market's really recovered since then. And we've got news at 9:45. That is going to be PMI. Pretty big news, actually. So I'm going to be careful to try and not take a trade before 9:45 Eastern, because I want to wait for that news to come out. So we'll see if we can get that. We've got 25 seconds till market open. Hopefully everybody's ready to rock and roll. Could be a little bit of a rangy day because of how much it moved yesterday. It could definitely be a little bit of a rangy day. Yes, let's get it. All right, we're open. AMD bounced right off its pre-market low there. Oh, Apple made a new pre-market low here. 253, but I think my entry was 252, yeah. No, 254, sorry. So my entry is going to go down to 253 now. Sorry, my apologies. I don't love that entry that as much. Let me see. Oh yeah, okay. I like it below this new low here on Apple. Yeah. Wow, big bump. That's through the gap fill, that bump right now. Kind of a small gap, considering how much it moved. I guess it bumped a little bit before open there. Nvidia's pumping here. Everything's pumping early. We gapped down to 69.47. And then it looks like we just gapped up to 54. The remainder of the gap goes up to 69.70. Hopefully we can hold on filling that gap until we get a little bit of a better push here. And outside of the first 5 minutes, of course. Crazy moves yesterday again. That market really kept tumbling too after we were done. Tesla looks to be the only thing that's really up for the day. Everything else is down, even though it's rebounding here at open. It's still down. For example, AMD still down 4%, even though it's pushing. Nvidia is still down 0.25%, even though it's pushing. Here goes Apple through this 253 level. That sucks. I wanted to be able to catch that, but it doesn't look like we'll catch that because we're going to be inside of the first 5 minutes here. But Apple's a trade I'm okay with taking before the news at 8:45 because Apple reported earnings last night, and because they reported earnings last night, they are probably going to do their own thing. Not really worry about the market news. They've got bigger news. They crushed earnings, by the way. Yeah, Apple's making a really nice move down. Gosh, I almost want to take it because of the earnings play on it. We're going to give it a minute. SPX has not filled this gap. It did enter it up to about the 69.54 level, but did not fill the rest. So we will have the opportunity to fill that gap here. VIX is inside of yesterday's range, filling the gap actually. It's got the gap to fill until about 16.88 roughly. Which means we could see the overall trend up in the market for a little while. We could see that sustain for a little while. Unless the news changes that direction pretty aggressively. If you got questions, pop them in the chat. I'll answer them as we've got time here. Apple seems to be holding within this range it created down to the 252 level. I would love to be able to wait just another minute or two on this 252 break on Apple. I'm surprised they're dropping though, to be honest. There is a 252.50 put and a 250 put. I'll be watching if it does break. Remember, it is Friday, so all the individual tickers are going to be 0 DTE. So you want to trade a little bit lighter because you're going to see increased volatility today. 0 DTE, meaning those contracts expire today. You see that with the individual tickers on Fridays because those contracts are only every week. Whereas SPX, ES, those contracts are daily, so you get 0 DTE daily. With the other tickers, you get less volatility early in the week, and then more volatility as the week goes on, as it gets closer to those contracts expiring. Apple made a pretty big rebound. We're going to watch it below low of day, this 252 level now. Yes, for the gap fill, I want to see it above this 69.55 level. It needs to cross through high of day here. I'd like to see NASDAQ get through 25,920. But I would consider a small gap fill play if we are able to cross those barriers here. Contracts are a little expensive today, sitting around the $18 to $20 mark. Just be mindful of that. You know what? I think I'll watch it above 69.60 on SPX. That'll be above this 69.85 level. Get through another chunk of that wall there. Get through the 25,920 on NASDAQ, and then try to carry the last 10 points of the gap fill. That's what I'm going to be watching for entry here. ES pushing pretty good, a little bit out of sync with NASDAQ right now. I don't love that. NASDAQ's red on this candle, ES is green. And we do have 8 minutes until news. So be mindful of that as well. Big rejection off that 69.85 level here from ES. Dropped down about 12 points now. NVIDIA's rejecting away. Yesterday was a perfect example of why you don't take trades in the first 5 minutes. NVIDIA wicked up to 193 right away, our entry point. Obviously, I don't touch anything in the first 5 minutes. It wicked down more than it wicked up. It was like a $3 wick down. So had we taken an entry in the first 5 minutes there, we would have exposed ourselves to that volatility, and it would have been pretty bad. So always stay disciplined. Sometime on days like today when you have 9:45 news, 9:45 Eastern news, you got to stay disciplined through the 9:45 level. It's just the reality of it. Did I snag? No, I didn't enter any trades on Apple today, Sam. I got plenty of shares of Apple. So I'm always celebrating the wins when they have good earnings. But no trades on Apple. It broke our level in the first 5 minutes here, and then it bounced. So nothing to take. If it does break through this low of day, likely just this 252 level, break through there, boom, instant entry on Apple, no problem. So we'll see how it reacts. And I'm not afraid. A lot of times, sometimes I'll be a little more cautious if I'm taking a ticker that's moving the opposite direction of the market. But because they reported earnings last night, I'm not necessarily as afraid of that, or concerned about that, if you will. Thank you for those of you guys that have been tuning in here. If it is your first day on stream, give us a follow here on Twitch. Give us a follow on X. Post all the updates on there for you guys. All right, trying to get through this high a day again here, 69.85. I will not take an ES trade, even if it gets above this 85 level before the news here. It's too close on that news time frame for me to take it, even though it does look pretty good if it breaks this 69.85 level here. There is some stopping points, though, as it gets to 7,000, so just be careful. Contracts are expensive. I would size down in general today, period. NASDAQ and ES2 still a little out of sync. I guess every candle is finished in sync, meaning they're moving the same direction. So if I look at the last 4 candles, or at least the last 3 before this, green, red, green, green, red, green, same on ES and NASDAQ. But ES is red right now, NASDAQ's green, so I want to be careful of that. I don't have the NASDAQ on the screen share, by the way. It's off to the left side of where ES and SPX would be, but unfortunately I don't have quite enough room on the screen to push all those charts in. You can watch it yourself, or just trust me when I tell you that they're out of sync, which they still are. Volume dropping a bit, but not too significantly, and not overly concerned about the volume drop here. VIX is dropping pretty good. Apple's making another move down here. Nvidia is making a move up towards this wick fill. I want to make sure I get it above high yesterday, though, my entry. Yeah, 193.48. I don't want to take it before then, because I don't want to get stopped on that little gap in the middle there. So that's where I'm going to watch Nvidia, the 193.48 or whatever it was level. Apple's pushing down again. And we've got 3 minutes till the news as well. I will take an Apple trade before the news if it gets there. I will not take an SPX trade or anything else before the news. We've got, what, a minute? 2 minutes till the news now. Yeah, looking at it now, ES and NQ have synced up, at least by the end of every candle. They're not moving quite uniformly within the candles, like they quite often are. But I would say they're kind of synced up now. Every candle's finished the same they're about the same level percentage above VWAP. So VWAP are my blue dots here. Yeah, above this 6960 looks good for a gap fill on SPX. This level right here, where it's basically bounced, or excuse me, rejected off of twice. I think the market, the volume's died down. The market's waiting a little bit for the news here. PMI news is pretty good. It's pretty big news. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. We got about 30 seconds until we hit news here now. I'm interested to see how the market reacts at the news here. Watch it be very anticlimactic. We'll find out. All right, here we go. News came out 7 seconds ago. Not a ton of volume came in with it, actually. Yeah, really not a ton of volume at all. Give the market a minute to see how it reacts here. If it starts rejecting, I'm really excited about an Apple play here. If it starts rejecting. All right, we are starting to reject a little bit. Let's see if it continues. Once again, going to be watching this Apple through the 252 level. I would love an Apple trade today. I really would. Here we go. We're moving now. I will be watching. Oh, this is a tough decision, actually. Yeah, 250, 250 puts is what I'll be watching if it breaks this 252 level. I was thinking about, and you could buy 250 puts, but no, they are going to be significantly more volatile, so don't take your normal position size, because you could easily lose 50, 60% of those contracts. But those are the kind of contracts that could go up 100% as well. So after 252, there's walls at 251 and 250, although the wall at 251 is pretty light compared to the 252 wall. So if it gets through 252, it should get through 251 no problem and drop down at 250. We may have bounced a little bit on ES here. That or it's just ranging here still in this like 85 to 65 range, which it has been in since the market's open today. It has really just stayed in that very tight range, 65 to 85, 20-point range on ES is all we've had today. I hate to say it, but there is a, there is a world in which this market just ranges here all day, just because of the big moves that we made yesterday. Let me just check on Meta. No, Meta's rejecting a bit. Meta's not going to get anywhere near our level today. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off the book. I'm not watching it on the screen either. I'm just checking the share price on the side, so I'm going to take that one off the docket. This could be a double bottom here on Apple, or it could just be some consolidation. It moves through this level. Either way, I think Apple's going to break one way out of this range here in a minute. My other stocks, not so sure because they're just kind of sitting there ranging right now. Wow, really, really rangy here. Consider shorts on SPX below VWAP. The level that I like, I don't know if I'll take it, to be honest. Because there is some rejection points, but below this 69.30 here. Looks like it could run to 69.10, 6900, and then if it breaks that, down to 68.80. But it could very well be choppy in that range. And it has been choppy in that range in the past, which is why I don't really like a downside move today. Wow. This is a strong range here. Has anyone taken any trades today? Drop it in the chat if you've taken anything yet. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. ES and NQ are nicely in sync. They are moving together. Still within this range. It's making a little bit of a push back towards the top of the range here where we could see the upside gap fill. Hoping maybe the 10 a.m. hour here in about 7.5 minutes brings in some additional volume for us. Otherwise, there's a chance I just sit here cash today. Don't take a trade. Rejected off that 69.80 level now. Man, Bit slow this morning. Bit slow. Come on, market. We've been very good to you. No, I mean, at the end of the day, listen, you got to take what the market gives you. And if the market is not going to give us anything, we're not going to take it. We're not going to be greedy. That's how you lose money. Days like this, where you jump into trades when it's ranging back and forth, that's where you lose your money. That's what will define you as a trader. You got to be able to have the discipline to look at days like this when it's chopping back and forth and just abstain and stay cash. Because these are the days that losing traders lose their money. I mean, they still lose money on other days, like yesterday too, if you're a losing trader. But but you're more likely to lose money on a day like today. And the losing traders will all be out fishing. I'm just going to sit here in cash and just let the market range here as much as it wants to. There's been lots of news, by the way, circulating. It's part of the reason why Tesla is one of the only stocks that's up today. There's been news circulating that they're potentially considering a merger of some sort between Tesla, SpaceX, and XAI. It's all rumored right now. Nothing's confirmed. If they did that, though, that would be absolutely massive for long-term Tesla bulls. Yeah. So, it's something you want to keep your eye on, because if it happens, Tesla stock is going to go up instantaneously. We'll see, though. Yeah, still ranging here. Hopefully we'll see what happens here in 2.5 minutes when the next piece of news comes in. That may allow us to get a move. If not, if we don't see a move within maybe the first 5 minutes of that, I think we're just going to range today. We're getting really wiki now, too, ahead of the 10 a.m. Eastern hour. Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining the stream. If it's your first day on stream, give us a follow. Give us a like. I'm on YouTube. I'm on X. My X is up here. I post all the updates for the stream on there, so please feel free to give us a follow. Join the stream. I'm here every day, every morning, about 9:20 a.m. Eastern, roughly. And hopefully trade for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, just depending on how the day goes. So please, yeah, sign up, join us, get some alerts. Apple is just moving opposite the market today. If you look, we basically made like a double top here on ES, kind of a double top, quasi double top, which now we're rejecting away from. And Apple basically did the opposite and made a double bottom. Crazy. Wow, big rejection we're getting here. I just don't see myself taking something to the downside today. I think it could be too wicky, as evidenced by that last candle. Apple's still pushing up above this 257 now. My level on Apple is 262 though, so we got a long way to go for that. What should I buy? And if I hit take profit, I'll give you a sub. What about that? That's funny. We're not providing financial advice, but if you want my entry point here on SPX, it's going to be below basically the 69.60 level on ES, which would be about 69.35, 69.30 on SPX. It's I don't like the range though, so Acremy, check out our trades from yesterday too. They're up on the channel. They're on my X. They're on my YouTube. I don't know if they're on the Twitch. I mean, you can watch the replay from yesterday. It's on there, obviously. We had some really good plays yesterday. Went 3 for 3. Just trying to be patient today. Today's a bit of a rangy day, as I kind of predicted in my opening comments here, that it would be this way. Yeah, brother, I've been developing it over the last year or two. Just started to stream, though, about a week or two ago. I'm also watching, you can see my watch list up here. I'm watching NVIDIA for the wick fill above 193, Apple above 262, below 252, AMD below 235.5. But everything's staying inside of the range here. Nothing seems to be breaking out right now. We had a big move yesterday. I've been day trading for almost 3 years. I've been profitable for about half that time, about a year and a half. Last year, took only 2 losing months the whole year. 10 months were profitable. I've been in the stock market though for probably 15 years, but just buying and holding stocks before that. That 10 a.m. didn't bring us much volume. Crypto's too volatile. Forex just not my thing. Not volatile enough. I know stocks much better. I'm not a big crypto guy. I like Bitcoin. I have a little bit of Bitcoin. I hold that, but I don't trade it. Nasdaq's trying to break out of its low of day here. ES still sitting above VWAP. I'm going to give this about another 5 or 10 minutes on this market, see if we get the moves. If not, I think we're just going to range here into the weekend. And let's look at next week. Next week on Monday, we have a little bit of news. ISM manufacturing, Tuesday job openings and ISM services. Wednesday employment, Thursday jobless claims. Friday's really the only big day next week. We've got the employment report, unemployment, hourly wages, consumer sentiment. So quite a bit of news coming out next Friday. The rest of the week, nothing too big. I should be trading all week. I have one other commitment that may affect one day of trading, but if you follow my X or follow me on Twitch, I'll have the schedule on there so you'll know for sure. Yeah, we're ranging bad right here. There's just no trade that you can reliably and profitably take in the long run based on how this market's looking. Yes, could you sit here and enter a trade and, you know, maybe take a profit? Sure. But it's not going to be a long-term profitable play on any of the setups on any of the stocks that I'm watching today. I don't want to say that about every stock in the market, but there's not been a definitively plus EV trade to take today on any of the tickers that we've been monitoring. Some days are like that. Patience is required in the stock market and day trading. It's not always going to be easy like yesterday. We're not always going to see clean moves, and you just got to be able to pick your spots. Big pump here, excuse me, on NQ and ES. Wow, Nasdaq got through to 25,900 and then didn't move after that. ES making a push to get back to the 69.85 level. I'm going to see if it can get through on this push for a potential entry into the gap fill. And if not, I might be calling it quits on today just based off of the drop in volumes that we're seeing on the individual tickers and the ranging that we're getting on futures right now. Yeah, it's starting to reject away. I'm going to see if we get any more volume bump here at the 1010 candle when this 5 closes, but volume really dropped off, especially on the NASDAQ on this most recent candle. Okay. Yeah, I don't like the ranging in the market today. The volume is dropping off now on futures. The individual tickers, as you can see here on AMD, Apple, and Nvidia, has dropped off significantly. The only plays I'll be watching for the rest of today will likely just be this a pump on Nvidia above this 193 level. Other than that, I'm going to enjoy my weekend and sign off. We had a profitable week overall, and so want to lock that in and move forward to next week. Not a ton of news next week, but Friday we've got pretty big news. That does not mean, though, we won't get moves in between there and throughout the day. So we will be back next week about 9:20 a.m. Eastern, Monday morning to trade. Through the weekend, keep an eye out. Give me a follow on X, and if it's your first time joining the stream here and you liked it, give us a follow here as well on Twitch. Come join us next week. Acme, we'll get that trade for you next week. Don't worry about it. Cool. With all that being said, let's